Hi, this is the review for word problems. And here's a list of common formulas that you'll need to know. Some of these are for Pre-Calc 11 and some of them are for Pre-Calc 12. You should go over these formulas with your teacher if you're unsure about any of them. Substitution is frequently used for word problems to create solvable equations. You need to turn the words and sentences into equations, otherwise you won't be able to solve or you'll solve the wrong problem. Here's an example. Box has a length that is triple the width and height that's double the width. The surface area is 864 square centimeters, and the manufacturer wants to make the surface area 1152 squared centimeters by increasing each dimension by the same amount. So the first thing to do is to highlight some important numbers or characteristics, and you want to increase each dimension. Always read the question so you know what you're answering. Find the old and new dimensions. So from the problem, we know that L is equal to 3W. It says the length is triple the width. It says the height is double the width, so 2W. And our surface area is the formula we need to use. And we grab that from our previous page. Now we substitute. And in this case, L is a function of W, H is a function of W, so it's best to solve this in terms of W. So 3W times W plus 3W times 2W plus W times 2W. Now that we've substituted, we need to expand. 3W squared plus 6W squared plus 2W squared. And we need to simplify. So this is 2 times 3 plus 6 plus 2 is 11W squared. Now we do further substitution. We substitute this value because we know that this is the surface area. 864 equals 22W squared. And now we solve for W. We move the 22 into the denominator and we take the square root. Remember, we only need the positive square root. 864 divided by 22. We can simplify this a little bit. 432 over 11. So our original dimensions are L is 3 times W. H is 2 times W. And W is 432 divided by 11. And let's get the approximate values from our calculator. This is 18.800, 12.534, and 6.267. Okay, now we need to use the same formula, but it needs to be modified slightly. So we know the new surface area is 1152. And we have 2. Now we're increasing L by X. We're increasing W by X. We're increasing L by X still. And H is getting increased by X. And again, W plus X and H plus X. Enter this on your calculator as 0 equals, we'll call this star. So 0 equals star minus 1152. So let's bring up the calculators. Let's start on the TI. We want to do square root 432 divided by 11. And we want to store it into W. So we press alpha, and it's the minus sign. So H is equal to 2W, so we just put 2 alpha minus sign, that's W, and we store that into H. Alpha, and it's this exponent. And L is equal to 3W, so we 3W and store into alpha right bracket. And we have exact values. We don't have to worry about approximate values. And we enter the formula. We go to y equals, and we have 2 bracket bracket L plus X. We use this X, and W plus X plus bracket alpha L plus X alpha H plus X plus alpha W plus X bracket bracket alpha H plus X bracket bracket minus 1152. Don't forget the minus 1152. You'll notice right away that if this is missing by looking at the graph. So just to check, L plus X, W plus X, L plus X, H plus X, W plus X, H plus X. And we need to set a relatively decent window. So to increase the volume, we're not likely going to be going more than 6. So we'll just enter 6. Because if we just add X, it'll double the surface area just from W. And for the Y min and max, since we're looking at 1152, we don't have to do 1152, but we could do minus 500. Half of that will do. We just need to see a nice gentle curve. And that's a fairly gentle curve. That lets us set our left bounds and right bounds to solve this. So we press second calc. We're looking for the 0 where it crosses here because our formula says 0 equals. Second calc, we're looking for a 0. Left bound, right bound, and our guess is the same. And we get our answer. X is 1.787. X is approximately 1.787. And our question says find the new dimensions. So L is approximately X plus old L. So we call this L new. So that's approximately 20.587. H new is approximately X plus H. So that's approximately 14.321. And W new is approximately X plus W. So that's approximately 8.054. And you can go through this calculation to verify, and you'll find that it's approximately 1151.95. So it's off by the 6th digit, which is definitely close enough. And let's solve this problem with the Casio. We need to store the values first. So we calculate the square root. On the Casio, you'll need to put brackets. Otherwise, it'll just do the square root of 432 and then divide the whole thing by 11. And the store key is here, just above the on button. Alpha W. That's the 3 key. And we do 3W. And we store that into L. And we do 2W. And store that into H. And then we go to the graphing. 2 bracket bracket L plus X. W plus X bracket plus, don't forget the plus, L plus X, and now we're doing H plus X. And finally, we do W times H. And don't forget the minus 1152. And graph. And let's set the window. -1. 5 is good. -500 to 500. And you might want to set the scale to 100 so you don't get a thick black line in the middle. And we press G solve, and we're solving for the root, and we get our answer. Let's look at one more example. A can has a volume of 750 milliliters. Its diameter is half the height. The manufacturer wants to increase the volume to 2 liters and have the diameter and height increase by the same amount. Find the initial radius and the dimensional increase. Okay, let's start off with the volume of the cylinder from our formula sheet. That's volume equals pi r squared h. Since we have the diameter, we need the formula of the diameter, and the diameter is 2r. The diameter is also half the height. Since our formula involves r and h, we want to eliminate d, and there's a simple substitution. 2r equals 1/2 h. I prefer to have no fractions, so I'm going to solve for h. I'm going to divide this side by 1/2, so that's 4r. Now let's substitute some more. We have 750. 750, we're going from here to here, equals pi r squared, and h is 4r. Note that typically this is a pre-calc 11 problem, and this is a pre-calc 12 problem, but the steps aren't terribly difficult for you to follow. So we have r cubed, r squared times r, that's r cubed, and we have 750 divided by 4 pi, r cubed. So r is equal to the cube root of 750 divided by 4 pi. This is approximately, and let me show you how to do this on the calculator. We need to do 750 divided by 4 divided by pi, and we raise that to the power of 1/3. 1/3 is the power for doing cube roots, and we get approximately 3.91. You might be tempted to do this, 750 divided by 4 pi, raised to the power of 1/3, but this will give you the incorrect answer. BEDMAS tells it to do multiplication and division from left to right. So we do the 750 divided by 4, and this actually multiplies by pi rather than dividing by pi. Since pi is in the bottom, we need to put brackets around the denominator. The other way to do this is 750 divided by bracket 4 pi, bracket, bracket, raised to the power of 1/3. Don't forget to put 1/3 in brackets as well, otherwise you'll get an incorrect result. So again, we get the same answer up here. Okay, let's do part 2 of this problem. Volume equals pi, and we have the diameter increase, but the formula is r squared, so we need to divide the diameter by 2 and then square it. And then h plus x. Again, we don't have D, and we want to solve everything in terms of R. So we will substitute. D is 2R plus X over 2 squared, and then H is again 4R plus X. And we can plug this into our calculator. Again, we want to store the values into R. So 750 divided by 4 divided by pi raised to the power 1/3 for the cube root, and we're storing it into R. Pi, bracket, bracket. We need brackets around the numerator because there's two terms. 2 alpha R plus X, bracket, divided by 2, bracket, squared, bracket 4R plus X, bracket. Sorry, we need to substitute. It's 2 liters, but we need to keep the same units. So now we just have 2,000, 2R plus X over 2 squared, 4R plus X. We take this quantity, we'll call it star. We want to change this into 0 equals star minus 2,000. So we're looking for a 0 rather than an intercept. And let's continue. So 2,000, we only need to go to 1,000. And I forgot to subtract 2,000. And graph. There's our answer. And on the window, if you don't want that y-axis to be that black, you need to enter a scale here of 10%. And graph. Now you get your division marks there. And we're looking for a 0, second calc. We're looking for 2, 0, left bound. Doesn't need to be too close as long as it's on the proper slope. And let's hold that down. That's good. Enter, enter. And we get an answer of 3.67. So the dimensional increase is approximately 3.67. And let's put the units there, centimeters. Let's repeat this on the Casio. U1, bracket 750 divided by 4 divided by pi, bracket raised to the power of 1/3. And we're going to store this into R. That's the 6 button here. Go to the grapher, clear out the old one. And we have pi, bracket, bracket, 2R plus X, bracket divided by 2, bracket squared, bracket 4R plus X, bracket. Unfortunately, with the Casio, you can't set the window before drawing, so you need to draw it first. And of course, I forgot to subtract. Minus 2,000. And draw. And the window's actually okay for this, so we'll just leave that. And G-sol and root. And again, our answer is 3.67. So strategies to help you with word problems. Draw diagrams if there's no diagram. Write formulas. You look for substitutions, reread the questions, and then solve. Please try the exercises before watching the solution key. And that completes the review portion.